Alright, so I figured I'd do the quarterly reading updates, and it's been a busy last 2 months for sure, so I almost feel embarrassed that I've only read 13 books in 3 months, but what can you do? It's fine. I bought a house, there was moving involved, I worked a lot, it's fine, it's fine. We started off the month, actually, or January, with finishing off, what was it called? It's called the Mindf series. Yeah, not sure why. Oh, I do know why I started this series. It was last year. I was doing romance reads, and I'm like, hey, detective and a serial killer. They fall in love. Let's go with that series. I had fun with it. So I read the first 2, I believe, last year, and then I finished off the last 3 books, I think it was, on screen now. And the first book was the only one I genuinely enjoyed and had a lot of fun with. The rest were probably an average of 3 stars each. Didn't dislike any of them. It was entertaining. It was a little over the top, a little crazy. The ending I have a few issues with, but it was an experience. It was a fun time. I got lost with the characters. They had strong personalities, and quite honestly, a strong personality is all I need. So, serial killer with a traumatic, brutalizing, maybe a little exploitative, maybe a little trauma porn past, falls in love with an FBI agent who is hunting her and he doesn't know, and there's also another serial killer involved, a whole web of lives and lust, and it's a fun time. I liked it, okay? I probably wouldn't recommend it, but I liked it. Ooh, next, where are you? You're here somewhere. We continued on with Brandon Sanderson. So, Edgedancer I have read and did not like. This is in between, I think, Words of Radiance and Oathbringer. Is that what it is? Yes, Words of Radiance and Oathbringer. Follows a character whose name I forget. She is very slippery, is what I remember. Lift. And she is entertaining in short doses, but I do not like her in a full book by herself. So did not enjoy this at all. However, oh my goodness, Warbreaker. Are you kidding me? I'm upset I only bought a little mass market paperback of this. I want instead like some special edition because I fell in love with this book so much. Power system revolving around colors. And it did not sound entertaining to me. I did not think I would like it, hence this little book. But they told me to read this before continuing on with Oathbringer, and I haven't continued on yet. But I'm so happy I did. I love this book so very much. It's very cliche, very tropey, which I love. 2 sisters, completely opposite personalities. One ends up getting married off to a foreign dignitary, the Demon Lord King guy, and they have been taught their entire life that these people are evil and should be feared, but they're trying to have a peace treaty. The other one is, drawing a rebellion. There are thieves, there is betrayal, there is power systems that I still barely understand. There is a god who is phenomenal, and I love him. And there is a talking sword, and I love the sword. I love the sword so much. He's a good boy who's just trying to do his best, and I love him for it. A lot of conversations on what is good, what is evil, and that will, I'm certain, be expanded upon in the Oathbringer, or not Oathbringer, Oathbreaker? No, Oathbringer. That's it. We're not breaking. This is Warbreaker. I want to see the sword. I need the sword. I need the sword. I love it. I love it so much. 5 stars. Phenomenal. Now I'm sad I have to mention the Hurricane Wars. Can I go back? Can we talk about this one more? Because I'll talk about him more later. But the Hurricane Wars, I DNF'd it. So hard. I don't DNF books easy. I had access to an audiobook through Scrib, and trash characters, trash plots. I love fan fiction. I said it in my review. I love fan fiction. But you take an established world and you build upon that, and you already have all this rich history, character development, and personalities. This book is based on a fan fiction, so the character's world and personalities is already established elsewhere. So this book did not stand on its own, in my opinion. I did not like it. I also didn't finish it. DNF'd. Hard DNF for me. Then I read Apprentice to the Villain, which is on my shelf somewhere. Where did I put him? There she is. Loved it. It is pretty much office romance, fantasy, comedy. Ella Enchanted meets, I'm assuming The Office. I've never watched The Office. I've been told I should watch The Office. I've not. But she is the assistant to the villain, and she becomes the villain's apprentice after he is in a situation after the end of the first book. This is the second book, and she has to help him edit said situation, trying not to spoil the first book, and she grows. The story continues. We expand on the magic systems. We introduce a prophecy. I liked the first book more, I think. But I like the exploration that we do with the certain characters here. There is a dragon, there is a frog, cute comedy, and will they, won't they fall in love? Idiots who are in love and no one know, and they are the only ones who don't know the other one's in love with them when everyone else can see it plainly. And miscommunication trope, which I normally despise, but these two idiots are so in love, we know it's not going to last long. So yeah, it's cute. It's very cute. And the humor is, it's cringy humor. You would not be wrong to call it cringe, but it's my type of cringe, okay? I find it adorable. Next one is Assassin Demon, or Assassin X Demon, which, again, on my shelf somewhere. Should have got these down first. All right, Assassin X Demon. Also adorable. I got this, I was trying romance, not my genre, but this was very cute. I got it from a TikTok recommendation, the author, so I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming self-published, but I actually really, really, really enjoyed the writing of it. Like, I can see a lot of skill here, and I would read what this author writes next in the future. It has its plot holes, and you suspend your disbelief a little bit here. An assassin is hired to kill a demon king, who is not a demon. He is just a title, which was disappointing. There is a sword, and it is a sentient sword, and I've learned I like that. They immediately fall in love, like, within 5 pages, I'm pretty sure, and they're sharing one bedroll, but they're just, like, seemingly platonic, but they're definitely in love. And that's kind of all there is. They're traveling from point A to point B. The assassin has retired being an assassin. He's only got a year left to live. And he wants to save as many people as he has killed. So that's kind of the plot of the book. Next one I read is Sunrise on the Reaping, and I fell in love with this. I'm not even a Hunger Games fan at all. Not something I ever really got into. Read the first book. I've seen the movies for most of them, but not the last one in the series, and then I watched the Songbird and Snake one afterwards. The focus on propaganda, the tragedy. I love tragedies. I forgot that how much I love tragedies. The tragedy of these characters. This is Haymitch's game, and I had expected it to focus partly on him and the games, but seeing how we knew everything that was going to happen in that game, really, I thought we would cut to the capital, maybe to other districts, to see how the propaganda portrayed the events. I assumed we'd see what actually happened and then see how the capital would spin and twist it and lead a narrative. But it wasn't really like that. It was just entirely Haymitch's point of view, but we did get elements of how the story and narrative was changed to twist into the capital's, for the capital's own purpose. And I like that focus on propaganda. I just wanted a little bit more of the propaganda of the capital. Just a little bit. But the characters, I fell in love with them instantly. I fell in love with the found family. And it was all so heartbreaking. And the geese. I love the geese so very much. I'm gonna have to read The Hunger Games now because of this book. The next one I read was The Center, and this was phenomenal. Did I like the ending? I've come to the determination that I think I did. The premise is pretty simple. A woman who is a translator, I believe she speaks Hindi and English, meets a guy who speaks like dozens of languages fluently, and he becomes fluent in her language practically overnight. Technically, I think it was like within 10 days. But he tells her about this center, somewhere you can go, be completely isolated, and when you leave, you will come out a perfectly fluent in all aspects of the language you chose when you go to the center, but it's very exclusive. You have to be invited in, and you can only ever tell one person about it, and that's going to be who you invite in. And it goes from there, and she meets the owner woman, heir to the center, and they start a relationship, and there's a lot of racism, internal conflict. There is a lot of themes of self-identity, how people see you. There was generational differences and ideologies. There was talk about gender was a big focus, agency, one's own worth, wealth disparity. There are so many themes discussed in a relatively short book. I love anything to do with translation, so that was a beautiful element. I love the character. She's not entirely likable, but again, I just like strong personalities. And she had that. I can see her not being everyone's cup of tea, but she felt real, and I love that for it. And the last book I read was Firestarter, Stephen King. So I'm continuing on with my attempting to read everything by Stephen King, mostly in publication order. I think I'm going to jump ahead and do a most anticipated, like most hyped King books so I can get some of his later ones read. Did not like Firestarter. I mean, if my enjoyment comes from books with characters who drive a narrative and have strong personalities, and I'm following them and their character arcs and stuff like that, yet none of that. The plot was happening to them. They were just on the run, or they were captured. Government conspiracy agency is after this family because the parents took part in a university experiment where they were injected with a drug. They fell in love, had a kid. Kid can start fires with her mind as well as some other things. And now the agencies are mostly after the daughter. And I hated the characters in the sense that they were very boring. They were very cliche. It didn't have the depth to characters that I expect from King. And that was very disappointing. I will give the possibility that King might have been one of the authors that started some of these tropes, started the what is now a cliche for evil government organization, psychic child, and yada yada. So maybe this felt unique in its publication day. Not now. Not a fan. Did not like it. I think my biggest complaint, though, is there was a section where it had the father taking care of the baby, and the baby's, like, burning her own toys or setting hair on fire, and, like, how do you reason with a toddler? And if the entire book was just domestic comedy-ish, with the parents trying to raise a toddler with psychic pyrokinetic powers, and just in the background we knew the government agency was watching them and we were waiting to see what would happen, I would have loved that so much more. In terms of manga, I think I really only read a little bit of Berserk this month. I read everything by Chainsaw Man's author, Fujimoto. So that was like early January, maybe December of last year. So Fire Punch and his other short stories. There's a video on this here. He is a master at his craft. The greatest mangaka, basically, that I've ever read, I think, in terms of pacing, strong personality characters, unpredictable plots, his art style. Like, I love Fujimoto's work to an obsessive amount, and I love Chainsaw Man. I think I'm 10 chapters behind in the current release schedule, so I need to catch up with Chainsaw Man, but everything that man has written was absolutely incredible. I'm only mildly enjoying Berserk right now, but I will be continuing the series. I think that's going to be my number one priority now, is finishing Berserk. Then I put down Monster forever ago, and I do need to finish that series because I'm told it's phenomenal, but never really got me hooked. I did some research on the time period and the era of it, and I thought that would draw me back into it, but never really did. What else? What's it called? Goodnight Pun Pun? That's an interesting manga that I've started, and I need to continue with. I just gotta watch some anime first to and see where my focus and priorities are. But I want to finish that for the next quarter, and I would absolutely love to get to work on my Bungo Stray Dogs manga because I'm obsessed with the anime, but I would need to read the manga. And then, of course, Stormlight Archive needs to be read. So I think that's enough for for what I want to plan to read soon. No, it's not, because the Dresden Files new book will be coming out soon, so I need to continue my Dresden Files reread. Okay, that is my priorities. Finish Berserk, Monster, because the fact that it's unfinished is driving me crazy. Stormlight Archive, reread Dresden Files. That is my priorities. I can do that. Who will be surprised if I randomly go on a tangent and just like decide I gotta read everything by this random author instead. All right, I will check in later. Bye.